I think the SPower can just perform right there next to Climax, or to something that's even better than Climax. They did all the welding, all the fabricating, all these welds you see right here. Kids, high school kids did. They did a fantastic job for high school kids. And all the metal on it was donated to the. So we're out here in East Texas. My name's Brant Cox. My business is Brant Cox Welding. If you're out here in East Texas area, I do mobile welding and also mobile machine work too, line boring more specifically. But if you got any type of welding that need to be done here in East Texas, the Palestine, Tyler, Texas area, I'm available. When I got out of high school, I worked with a rig welder here around locally, and I helped him for 3.5 years. And that's kind of where even when I was in high school and like middle school, I kind of knew that I wanted to be a welder. I didn't know what the role was, a welder, when I was that little, but I just knew that I wanted to be a welder of some type. And then as soon as I got older and getting to know more, I was like, hey, I think I really want to do this. I enjoyed doing the lathe work anyways. My grandparents have a machine shop over there, and so I was like, what can I do to keep going that route? And so I looked up into line boring, and I found line boring videos. I've never seen it done in person. The only thing remotely close that you could say that I've probably seen it in person is lathe work. And that's the closest thing you're gonna get is to line boring, is boring stuff on the lathe. That's the closest thing you're gonna get to line boring. But I've never done it in person. The only thing I can say is I watched cutting edge engineering out of Australia. I watched him. Couldn't find that one. Well, then I googled Climax, and that was the next thing I knew about Climax. I was kind of seen it, and I kind of seen about SPower too. Well, then I called some people down in Corpus that deal with Climax and that you can purchase it from them, and I did not like the price. It was the $35,000 to $40,000 range, and that was a little out of my price range for getting started, And I found SPower. I called them up, and y'all's names popped up, and I called y'all, and they're like, hey, for about 10 grand, I can have SPower. So. And here we are, and I can't really beat that price, for what it is. When I first got the line borer, I found a piece of junk pipe, and I just set it up and see what we're gonna do, go through there and start cutting, just make chips, and I've enjoyed it every bit. It does take a little learning curve to learn how to, measure stuff and like that, but that's just nature of the beast. It's all stuff that will eventually come to you once you've done it enough. The impression with the SPower is, first off, is their centering cones is metal. They do have plastic ones, but they're the bigger ones. But the ones that you're going to mainly use for 90% of stuff I'm going to use around here is the metal. And then the SPower motor is a lot stronger. I can put my hand on it and not going to stop the motor on it like the other one I had, or the one I used. I said, you're not going to stop it. And the bearings are a lot nicer. They come with, once you get the SPower, it is ready to go. You can take it on a job as soon as you get it that day. There ain't nothing you need to buy extra, unless you want to. But it is ready to go. I can't complain about anything. The cutting ability on the SPower is impressive. You can take a pretty good cut if you want to. You don't have to, but if you want to take, I'd say, I've taken at least 100 thousandths cut, if not more, and it handled it perfectly fine. And then interrupted cuts, it handles it fine as long as you're not taking too big of a cut. And then the tool bits they provide you is a lot. Enough to last you for a pretty good while before you have to start buying tools and tool bits. But it does a really good cut. It makes a really fantastic cleanup cut as long as you got it set up right. Well, what's impressing me most is the portability about it. Now, I'm not saying you're fixing to pick up the whole rat pack and put it on your truck. You do have to break it down to set it on something because they are heavy. They're not light. But the portability and how compact it is very nice. The remote controls, I wasn't using them at first because I thought it was kind of weird. But I've started using them here recently because I don't have to have that control box right next to me. I can have it somewhere kind of out, not out of the way, but I can still get to it. But it's nice to have the remote when you're changing the tool bit out, or you're wanting to turn the machine one way or other, and you can click auto and it will loosen up and you can turn it. The controls are nice, especially on the welding side. You can stop it if something messes up, because you don't want to be messing stuff up more than it needs to be messed up when you're welding on the inside of a board, because it's not easy to clean it up. It's very, very nice to have quality tools and somebody that I can pick up the phone and say, hey, we got a problem, how we get it solved. And they have been really good. I've called them up and they're like, hey, you need to do this, this, and this, or hey, we're going to get that solved for you. I have had no issues. I could pick up the phone right now and they'd answer. I mean, unless you're closed for business, you know. Other than that, but I can pick up the phone and they'll answer, you know. Especially the lady that I've been talking to most of the time. She's like, hey, Brant, what do you need? You know, I'm not very busy with it right now, but I think it's part of the reason is because people don't know that I have it, and I think around this East Texas area, or even in Texas in general, or other states in general, is I think it's something that people need to get into, because there is a business that requires line boring, because most of the time when you have a line boring on a job, that old grease worm got to it. And it screwed up. I mean, that's the only way to fix it, is to line board out.